Hello there, Sir from 17 once again. This is Star Wars Battlefront 2, and this is some galactic assault on Naboo, playing as the droids. We're attacking, and I finally unlocked the Blurrg and got the attachment of the 4 bursts, and yes, it is as broken and as overpowered and as filthy as I imagined that it would be. And I can't imagine a planet where anybody would disagree with this and not want it to be nerfed, because it outclasses every other gun in the game, and even if you don't have thumbs, you can still do well with it. So it's kind of ridiculous, and I'm using it because they're nerfing it, and I wanted to see what it's all about. So I've got quite a lot of gameplay with it, because as you can imagine, it's really easy to do well with. It's ridiculous, but they are nerfing it. They nerfed it today, and I'm afraid that they didn't nerf it hard enough, but we'll find out because I'm going to play it later on. But this is a pretty cool gameplay, but I'm not going to be talking about the actual action. If you were on my stream the other day, I did a bit of a play-by-play of it to show you some gameplay, to show you how broken the Blurrg was. But I'm going to be talking about Battlefront in general, because I've just got into this game, and like everybody else, I heard all the controversy, I heard all the crazy, fan feedback that was all negative, and the boycotts and everything else, the massive echo chamber of there's essential degradation towards everything that this game is, and now I've played it for 3 days. That's my time on the game. I'm rank 27. I can honestly say that pretty much everything I've heard is bullshit. It's complete and utter fluff. But I can understand why people got incensed about it, because they should in a lot of ways. If you're new to the channel, or if you're old to the channel, I'm not the biggest fan of EA's practices. I think they've always prioritised the money making and the business angle of gaming. But they're a publisher. That's exactly what they're supposed to do. That's their job. That's how they stay in business. That's how they keep up their numbers. So I don't blame them for doing it. I've just never really supported it, because to me, the game should come first. They should make a great game. It should make players want to play it, and then the money will just come naturally from that. But unfortunately, the current, climate of video games has gone towards this virtual cryptocurrency and loot box system / gambling / pay to win kind of schemes. And I want to set the record straight here, guys, because I've heard so many things, and all the arguments are pretty bad from players that haven't played the game, or haven't played the game long enough, or have just parroted what they've read on Reddit because they think it's cool to hate on EA. And this game is not pay to win. It just isn't. This game is play to win, and I'm going to explain why I say that. The reason why a lot of people seem to think that this game has some notion of pay to win is because there was originally a crystal currency that enabled you to buy loot crates, and in the loot crates you got star cards, and the star cards get incrementally better and give you incremental advantages, and they take quite a long time to upgrade. But there isn't a single star card in this game that makes that much of a difference, that if you're not adept at playing third-person shooters, and if you don't know the maps and you don't know the flow of the levels and how to play the game, you're not going to beat someone who does. Because the 100% decider, the arbiter of this video game, is 100% weapon and weapon mod. There are weapons in this game that don't seem special, and then you put 2 mods on them after getting 250 kills, and they turn into complete death-dealing destroyers of worlds. The Blurrg is a great example of this. When I used the Blurrg without any mods on it, I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was what everybody was talking about, and then I got the mods, and it turned into a monster. And you can't buy that, guys. You couldn't buy that back when the loot crate system and the purchasing the crates and the crystals and everything was in the game. And after the massive feedback, they removed that shit. So it's not in the game. But you can't buy weapon attachments, and they're the things that are the true decider. The one area where I can understand people thinking it might be pay to win is when we talk about the weapons. Because I didn't know this until the other day when a friend told me, and I actually got one in a crate. I didn't know you could get weapons in crates. And I imagine, if you're one of those people who's incredibly lucky and you just get everything in life, if you opened a crate on your first attempt and you got a really powerful gun, you might have a bit of an advantage against other people who don't have, or your level, your skill level, your experience level, and they have the starting gun. You might have a bit of an advantage then. But the reason why I would still argue it's not pay to win is because I've played this game for 3 days. I've opened maybe 200 crates, maybe more, and I've unlocked 1 weapon, and it was a weapon I already had. It was a duplicate. So the chances of you getting some kind of game-changing tool from opening a dozen boxes is so astronomically small that paying $1,000 is not going to help you. And that's the true decider in this game, guys. That's the true thing that really makes Battlefront appealing to me, is that as much as people want to call it pay to win, as much as people like to blame star cards, This is actually a skillful game, where the person who knows the maps, knows the game modes, knows how to move throughout the levels and what players generally do, and understands his abilities and his weapons and how to use them, is the player who's probably going to win. And that's awesome. But don't get me wrong, this is also a really casual game. As much as I say a skillful player in this game is going to do well almost every match and wreck house, it's so casual that they've given options for anybody to feel like they're doing well, for anybody to feel like they're helping, and to accrue an insane amount of points by doing essentially sundry bullshit, hoary, dirty things. The game has a bit of everything, and then when you combine that with the fact that it's one of the most unbalanced, broken video games I've ever played, you have this climate of just complete chaos, and understanding that can be very difficult. Just like Bosk's thermal vision. Bosk's thermal vision can be very difficult to use when you don't know the maps because it blurs what you can see. All you can see is wall hacks, but you can't tell where the doors are and things. So you have to play quite a lot to get a general grasping of the level before you can use it as effectively as it can be used. And Bosk is a great example of the balance in this game. He's completely bullshit broken, and I love him. And it's just... it's such an interesting thing because it feels like a battlefield, and it feels like it rewards people who take the time to learn it, and I really, really enjoy that. And I just want to slay these accusations of pay to win because it's just simply not true. You can't buy anything in this game at the moment because they've removed it, but they are bringing it back apparently. But even then, there's nothing you can buy that's going to make you better than me. That has to come through practice and through understanding what you're doing. There's no single win button, there's nothing that you can immediately go to, and if there was, I'd do it, you know? And that's my argument to a lot of these people that like to, you know, spam all this garbage Reddit nonsense and hurt this game for reasons because it's EA and nothing else, because if they actually played it, they'd understand it's a lot of fun. This is a super chaotic game, and it's the most fun I've had since Titanfall. Because it's just, there's something about it. I don't get angry. I always feel like I'm helping the team. This is frustrating. I'm hitting a wall, but I can't tell because of my scope. A little tip for new players, if you see an X on the side of the cover when you're shooting, it means that your bullet is colliding with the wall. They've done this so that you don't have a massive peaking advantage like you did in Gears of War. And it's a good thing for the game, but it can be a bit frustrating as a player. But this pay-to-win notion... it's just, it's such a disappointing aspect because there's a lot wrong with this game. This is by no means a perfect game, and I can talk for hours about what needs to change, what doesn't make sense, the welfare system of vehicles and low point requirements and no limitations on how many battle points they accrue, 1,000,001 things I could talk about, folks. But pay to win simply isn't one of them, and I should know because I've carried bad teams and I've lost, trying my ass off as Leia, dropping 70 kills and still losing because the second person on my team has 10 eliminations and they were probably all assists from what I was doing, and it can be very frustrating because you feel like you did everything you could and you were let down by 19 other people on your team who for whatever reason can't press the right trigger. And in those situations, if there was something that I could put on like a star card or something I could buy, I would. Because I don't like losing. I'm a really competitive player, and look at Bosk running in here clearing out this area so that the team can get on the objective. If you know how to play these heroes, they can be deadly, but if you overextend, you're going to die. And that's another thing that I think this game does fantastically. As powerful and as ridiculous as the heroes can be, they're all very vulnerable to damage. Did you see how quickly I was getting stripped then? I made a bit of a mistake by not throwing my toxin in and then jumping about, but even so, I got nearly killed and I had to move back and play intelligently. The heroes, if you play them stupidly, will die as if you were just a standard trooper. But if you play them conservatively, you understand what ranges you are strong, what ranges you're weak, try not to get flanked, try to stay away from vanguards and supercharged sentries, you will have an incredible time with them. And if you push objectives, I will love you forever. Because the one thing that I think that's really suffering in this game at the moment is new players not quite understanding how to play, getting enough battle points finally, and then hogging a hero spot, and sitting at the back of the map shooting and sniping and trying to stay alive, but not actually trying to help the team push an objective. The heroes have more HP, they're way tankier, they have abilities that just are night and day better than the standard troopers. They are designed to help you push a difficult point. Right now, me and Darth Vader are pushing this point. I'm trying to stop the spawns, I'm trying to run interference, I'm trying to just be a devil and keep everybody on the back foot. Vader's pushing in that room, we're going to cap this point. And it's because we're supporting the troopers. The troopers are strong, but they die quickly. They need the help from the bigger people, and as it stands, it really breaks my heart, you know, when you see people pick bad heroes, because as much as all the heroes can be capable, and if you use the right star cards they can be devastating, picking certain heroes over other heroes to me makes absolutely no sense. And I love that people do it because it's healthy for the game, but it's terrible for my team when I see people running around, you know, using lightsaber users and they don't know how to use them when they could be using something more powerful. Like, I love people who pick, you know, somebody like Yoda on Hoth instead of picking Leia. That to me is fascinating, but I'm glad it exists. But getting back to the star cards, one area where I think the star cards definitely make a big difference, there's two instances of it. The first one is Toughen Up for Assault. The Assault has a healing ability, and if you get that star card, even the base version of that card is incredibly useful because it can keep you alive way longer than it would without it. That being said, if your shot is accurate and you're close enough, you can kill people using Toughen Up easily, because everybody dies very quickly in this game, and the servers can be a bit annoying sometimes, but for the most, the connection is fantastic. Thank you, Vehicle, for that one. The second area is both the heroes and the vehicles. If you have somebody in an ATST walker who has the, you know, the fast recharge on his repair and has a few other things like that, they're going to be an absolute nightmare. But I think that's more so because of how badly balanced the vehicles are, not necessarily how balanced the star cards are, but they're definitely going to help and make you even more of a nuisance. I could talk for hours about those chicken walkers because I just feel like they were put in the game to essentially allow people who can't aim to get streaks and to get kills, and I just don't understand DICE's thinking for enabling them to go and actually capture points. I don't think they should ever be able to stand on a point, because you can literally spam AoE blasts into the spawn and get free points, keep an entire team away on your own. Like on Crate, I can take that point on myself in one of those walkers, and I refuse to use the vehicles because I hate them. I just think they're bullshit, cheesy, nightmare nonsense. And then that leads me to the planes, arguably the area of the game that frustrates me the most. But the planes, if you have the right star cards, can be an absolute nightmare. And I don't know why it's so easy to kill people on the ground. There's times when I've picked Leia, I've ran forward and I've got strafe-runned by an X-Wing and immediately died. So all 8,000 of my battle points are wasted before I've even fired my gun. And I'll never understand why they think that's a good idea. To me, the planes should be all about fighting other planes, and it should be the battle above the battle below, you know? Or there should be a really good anti-air option inside of most levels to help you get rid of the planes. But as it stands, the only good thing against planes, in my opinion, aside from supercharged sentry if you've got good aim, is using Leia's secondary fire. And as good as it is, you're relying on aimbot to do it for you, so it's tricky to pick what you want. But I didn't get a chance to say that some of the heroes with star cards like Palpatine, he can be just a complete whirlwind. But even then, he's a whirlwind anyway, and you have to use him correctly. If you use Palpatine like an idiot, you're gonna get stomped. And that's why I love this game, guys. As much as there's all this controversy, as much as everybody's telling you not to play it, I love this game because it's fun, and because if you are a skillful player, you can do well consistently. Thank you for watching. You take care now.